And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's November 6th. It's 2025. And we're here to talk about everything that matters to you and your life. The markets, the economy, the Morlocks in D.C. And remember what we've been telling you for years. They suck. And look how bad they suck now. We'll explain in a minute. We'll do taxes and debt and deficits and scams and shams and corruption. You name it, we'll cover it. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. We'll also put it on the BizTV YouTube channel and other podcast apps. And if you'd like to email me, just be nice. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next day or so, 10 to 25% of flights are going to be canceled because of the Morlocks in Washington, D.C. Remember us. By the way, I'm always amazed that we don't have millions listening to this show. But I guess you have to be biased for that to happen. We've warned you. By the way, we believe they will open up the government tomorrow or Saturday. I was off by a week because one side of the aisle decided to wait after the election. I can promise you they cannot afford to go a week or two with 25% of flights canceled. They can't. And it will only get worse. If you were a TSA, if you were an air traffic controller and you're not getting paid, how pissed off are you? There's a move afoot. I didn't even realize Congress has been getting paid. There's a move afoot to take that away. I want you to think about this. For years we have been telling you 3 words. They all suck. Nancy Pelosi announced she's going to be retiring. She sucks. Barack Obama put out a note, oh, Nancy Pelosi, the greatest this. She brought people together. No, she did not. Another lie from Barack Obama. President Trump out there telling everybody the job market is sizzling. Yet ADP and Paycheck stock have crashed. The payroll companies. I can go on and on. The bottom line is, we now have a tax and spend president who complained about the last tax and spend president. Gary, what are you talking about? Well, they're going to run $2 trillion deficit this year, even with the tariffs coming in. Oh, wait a minute, taxes. I was watching my good buddy Jonathan Hoenig today on Fox Business saying tariffs are a tax. Americans are paying for it. Yeah, tax and spend. And now the government. And as you know, it's not a full government shutdown. It's some things. But air travel is vital to the economy and the business community. They also, and you know, I didn't realize this. I have a new thing. If I was president, the first thing I'd be doing. Am I right that I read 42 million people are on food stamps? They can now call them SNAP. 42 million people on food stamps? Did I read that right? How many people on SNAP? No, not Snapchat. It comes up how many SNAP benefits. There you go, better. 41.7 million people in 24. getting benefits. They call them benefits. I don't think it's a benefit when you have to. And safety net. You know what I'd be doing if I was president? The first thing I'd be working on? Those people. First thing I'd be thinking about, why do these people need to have food stamps? 33% of the participants, I guess that's the word, under 18. .7% of Florida state population get it. That'd be the first thing I worked on as president. What can we do about that? Imagine if we just took 42 million people and got them into jobs and got them off of having to have food stamps. SNAP. Anyway, they all suck. They're hurting people. You know where we put the blame on this one, the Marxist Party. They could have easily signed off on a resolution for 90 days to work out whatever the problems each side have. And that's what they did all the other times. So it's on them. But they all suck. Now, when we get to the market, we're being asked, Gary, do you think the market weakening has to do with the shutdown? Well, my answer is, I don't think so. And that's because the shutdown's been going on, for 35, 40 days. And all I can tell you, the market's done nothing but go up for those 35, 40 days. So I'm not so sure I'm in that camp. But you never know. I got asked, if we open up, do you think the market will rally? I don't know. Let me tell you what we do know, ladies and gentlemen. Narrower and narrower. Fewer and fewer. Today, let me read another day of woeful numbers. On the New York Stock Exchange, 1,489 stocks were up, but 2,911 were down. On the NASDAQ, much worse. 1,182 stocks up, 3,343 were down. On the NASDAQ, 285 new yearly lows. On the New York, 175 new yearly lows. Wow! Remember what the yearly lows were. A deep dive crash, a Trump tariff crash into April. Those stocks now on the New York and the NASDAQ totaling 460 are trading relatively below that level. Underneath the surface continue to weaken while a narrow group doing the job. But the group got narrower today. And I must tell you, the market was trying to rally today, but finished on the low end. Dow down 398 points. S&P down 76. NASDAQ 445. NASDAQ 100, 489. Russell 43. The SOX 171. I told you advanced declines. I told you how many new lows. There was some new highs, but as I went through them, not very impressed. There was some really good earnings reactions today, but we've seen that throughout earnings season. But I have to tell you, we already did our first webcast. I am stunned how weak the underbelly of the market is. I'm stunned. That's all I can say. And they had better not get the good stuff. Best way I can explain it, you know what the good stuff is, right? The semiconductors, data storage, artificial intelligence, tech, some of the commodity types for artificial intelligence, the construction and energy. They better not get that crap. Up next, we'll continue. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for joining us today. By the way, as I mentioned them, and as you know, we have applauded, screamed out loud, some of the great things this president has done. Given him A+++++ on things. But I gotta tell you, I wouldn't call it love-hate. Hate's a big word, but how about love-dislike relationship I have with him? You know what the latest is? Eli Lilly just got a tariff relief from the president because they lowered their prices. What the hell is going on here? The President of the United States gives tax relief to a company because they lowered their prices? All you free market conservatives that like that, you ain't a free market conservative. It's insane. And I gotta tell you, you know the old line, what goes around comes around, and be careful what you wish for? Wait till a Marxist takes over the presidency and uses these powers. Holy crap! What they're going to do to us. Executive powers on taxes. Imagine a Bernie Sanders type. Imagine that. A Bernie Sanders type running the joint and using tariffs. Think about that. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. Holy freaking moly! Here's what's going to happen. Gavin Newsom, the next president. Emergency powers. We have a $45 trillion deficit. My emergency power says wealth tax. Any amount of wealth you have over this number, we are taxing you 1%. Send it in. You don't think he's going to do that? Do you know who these people are? They're control freaks. They do it through rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, and taxes. And this president is opening up the spigot for them to give us a tax colonoscopy in 2029 of January. They're licking their chops right now. They're complaining, but they're licking their chops right now at President Trump using tax policy to move things around. Hey, Eli Lilly, if you lower prices, we'll give you tax relief. It's insane. Oh, another company, we don't like you? Tariffs. Anybody want to disagree with me? You can't. I got you. We deal in facts. We don't need opinion. We deal in facts. I wish I can say better things on this front, but it's lunacy. It's the only thing I can tell you. It is lunacy. Anyway, bad day today. And let me just state for the record, fewer and fewer, narrower and narrower. I do not know what the market does if we open up. Maybe the market just rallies up and maybe we're going down because of it. I don't know. All I can tell you, we were going up until about 5 days ago because of it also. So I just don't know. What else is going on? Well, you can thank us because we warned you. All the froth and speculation is getting whooped. Do you know some names are down 50 to 70% now? We warned you. What did we warn you with? Our old line. If nothing changes, and these companies continue to have no sales, but the market changes, you come out of the bullish frothy phase and you go into whatever phase, they all go back to where they came from eventually. All of them. If nothing changes. And I can tell you nothing has changed with them. And again, there are stocks down 50 to 70% in the last 5 weeks. All the ones that were being touted to you. And boy, have they been touted. I was watching some people on TV talking about OKLO near the highs, and I wanted to vomit. No sales company goes from 17 to 193 with no sales, ends up at a $25 billion market cap with no sales, and some jackass goes on TV, you gotta own Oklo. By the way, we won't mention names, but I would say it to his face. If I ever meet him. He's not bigger than me, that's why. If he was bigger than me, maybe I wouldn't say it to his face. So just letting you know that's going on. And again, market's getting a little roughed up here, but the big influence still hanging in there. The semiconductors, the data storage, artificial intelligence, not all, because there's some Oracle has been blasted. Artificial intelligence. Meta's been blasted. Artificial intelligence. Microsoft's breaking. Artificial intelligence. Up next. What else we got in store? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So besides the froth, and we really try to explain it as best as we can to you, we have this left screen, about 5 or 6 columns of stocks, and what these are what we call other technology stocks that topped out, went by the wayside, haven't kept up, and I can just tell you they're being obliterated. Obliterated. Beaten to a pulp. Huge drops. You know what the latest one is? DoorDash. And just so you know, DoorDash, we just took off our front screen Monday, when we thought it cleanly broke the 50-day, knowing they were reporting earnings soon. It was down $41.50 today, 17.5%. Obliterated. I don't need to go through other names. We're just letting you know it's so darn narrow, this market. And do you know what I usually say on narrow markets? If they come and get the good stuff, look out. The good news is, even today, 400 Dow, 445 NASDAQ, Micron was up, Seagate was up, Western Digital was up. Oh, by the way, Eli Lilly was up 11. Thank you, Mr. President. If they get the semis in the artificial intelligence and one other area, the big banks, sitting, not doing anything right now. They've had a good run off the April lows. Sitting, but not dropping. Holding support levels near the highs. If they get the semis in the big banks, oh, you'll be hearing from me. We also have to mention of the big stuff. SAP, no-go. Oracle, no-go. Netflix, no-go. Microsoft, no-go. Meta, no-go. Salesforce.com, brutal bear market. Costco, bearish. Adobe, bearish. There's just a lot of freaking weakness, ladies and gentlemen. A lot. Stay tuned. The big indices haven't broken the 50-day moving average since April. If you hear us saying that, that'll be another. We're not predicting it. We're just letting you know underneath the surface, the underbelly is market. Ugh. Auto dealers. Ugh. ADP and paychecks crumbling further into new yearly lows. These are the payroll companies. Jobs. That's something to watch, in my humblest of opinions. And that's the story. Narrower and narrower, with a good amount of influentials still doing the job. I could tell you Apple, Amazon, Broadcom, Google, Nvidia, and Tesla, 6 of the top 8, still in shape. Tesla got hit today, but is off the lows of the day. I think at one time today, Tesla was down 435, 10, 26 bucks, finished down 16. I got it up $6 in the aftermarket. We're waiting on news. I don't know if it's come out yet, but I do believe they're voting on a $1 trillion pay package for Elon Musk if he meets certain numbers going forward. No, I do not see any news yet. And by the way, if he meets certain numbers, and for those that are completely against it, you go find a letter Ron Barron of Barron Capital wrote about their investment in Elon Musk, going back many years. It's one hell of a letter. Ready for some of this? When my analyst team met with Elon Musk for 2 hours in New York City in 2010 during the IPO roadshow for Tesla, we thought his plans were more hopeful than plausible. They passed. In 2014, when sales of Model S began to increase significantly, we concluded we had been wrong thinking that Elon would not succeed. From 2014 to 2016, Barron Capital purchased $400 million of Tesla shares at prices that were 13 times higher than the IPO. Tesla's shares are up 30 times since they bought that. $8 billion in profits Barron Capital made. They purchased SpaceX in 2017 and invested a total $1.3 billion in SpaceX. That's $4 billion in profits. They have $340 million in profits in his XAI. They've earned $52 billion of profits off of Elon Musk's business. I get it. I get it. And by the way, they're not alone. They're not alone. Anybody who's invested with Elon from the get-go, happy campers. And one would have to, and by the way, we're not advocating or not, we're just telling you what we think. Tesla going to be nothing without Elon. Next thing they're telling us is robots and robo-taxis. We'll see. Because I can tell you yesterday, the numbers out of Germany, 50% drop in Tesla sales. Them dogs ain't going to hunt. So anyway, a little bit on Elon Musk, and we're waiting to hear. I gather these shareholders are going to vote okay. And I got to tell you, amazing. $1 trillion pay package? Dang. That's wild. Wild. In the news, Zoran Mamdani, the groups he's been working with just put out demands of the next mayor of New York City. You ready? Divest city pension funds from Israeli bonds and securities. Withdraw city funds from banks that lend money to Israel or do business in Israel. End city contracts with companies that do business with Israel. Operate city-run grocery stores free from Israeli products. Investigate real estate agents hosting illegal sales of stolen land in West Bank. Evict weapons manufacturers and transports from New York City metro area. Divest City of New York endowment. Reinstate wrongly fired professors. Dismantle Eric Adams' New York City Israel Economic Council. End repression of demonstrators. Remove nonprofit status from charities that raise funds for Israel. End New York PD training with Israel. Arrest Netanyahu and active IDF soldiers for war crimes. I'm going to guess they don't like Israel. These are the people who played a key role in him winning the election. Unbelievable. And don't get me started on the so-called conservative big mouths that loved Israel and now hate him. We don't give a crap what they think. And again, they all suck. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, whatever else. We're on a roll. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Defensive end Marshawn Nyland of the Dallas Cowboys dies at 24. He just scored a touchdown this past weekend, I believe. Wow. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Let me tell you what stuck out today for me. This was the quote of the day. And by the way, I liked it. They had this MAHA, that's Make America Healthy Again, thingamabob today. And what they're trying to do is, in case you don't know, this is true. In Italy, Italians can eat as much pasta and tomato sauce as possible and never gain weight. But we do. For example, just for example. So what they're trying to do, and we hope they're successful, is make things better. And they're doing a thing with the weight loss people and trying to cut deals. And I said something about tariffs with Eli Lilly, which I'm not happy about. But from Robert F. Kennedy's mouth, Americans are going to lose 125 million pounds. That's what we're going to try and do. Do you realize, if that happened, how much money the government would save and how much more healthy America would be? 125 million pounds. What do we have, 350 million people? Right? That's only what, 1/3 of a pound each? Right? Yeah. But of course, a lot of those 350, a lot of them are kids and stuff. Anyway, I was just watching that today. I'm like, wow, it's a noble thought. And in case you do not know, we do have a problem. And I always say here, you know, if you go to by the way, the Cheesecake Factory, the Bang Bang Chicken and Shrimp is just fabulous. But if you have one piece of cheesecake at any cheesecake anywhere, you've got to walk for like 8 hours to work it off. Seriously. I'm not making it up. It's something like that. We do need to work on that, no doubt. Just wanted to bring that up. Also, in the news, I'm actually deciding if I'm going to train for next year's New York City Marathon. My son took me to First Avenue and 96th Street to watch the marathon, and I was enamored with what I saw. Old men and women running the marathon. People in their 80s. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. And I look at my son, what do you got to do to be able to do that? Oh, you got to train. So this weekend, I'm actually going to search the words, how to train for the New York Marathon. Now, I'm told I should join a club, a running club that trains. I don't know if they got that in Florida, though. I'll have to look. But I got to tell you, I hated running. When I played on tennis teams and I went 0-8 on the circuit, I never liked running too far. I'd run a mile and get sick of it. I don't know how I'll run 26 miles. 26.2 miles. I get tired when I drive that far. Anyway, just letting you know. I'm told that anybody can really do it. Really. My hamstrings are like oak trees. I think in the second mile, I'll be cramping up like there's no tomorrow. Now we'll see. Something to think about. If any of you have ever been in marathons, please email me and tell me what you had to do to train. I'm sure there's some of you out there that have. By the way, one of my good friend's wife did it, and she was not in shape. She got in shape, so I know it's possible. And again, I saw some 80-year-old plus men and women running 26 miles, 26.2. So that may be in the news. But I want to circle back. Aren't you tired of all of them? Seriously. When are we going to get to the point? All of them. All of them. Insider trading, tax and spend, corruption, self-dealing. Think about it. How can we stop this bleeding in both sides of the aisle that has taken us to $38 trillion of debt, and they can't even get the frickin' government open to the point where I'm flying up north next Wednesday night, and I don't know if I'll be able to have a flight in the year 2025 and in the United States of America. Think about that. It's disheartening. We're supposed to be able to look up to these people. I look down at these people. It's unfortunate. That note, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Hopefully better day tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody. Good night.